Welcome to the Previously On podcast. I'm Jillian Benani, and joining me today, a guy who wanted to do a live podcast right after this finale. It's Tyler Branch.
You really outed me right there. You know, it seemed like a good idea at first. I was like, this is the TV event of the season. But I forgot what a gut-wrenching show this is, and that was quite devastating.
I mean, I think my eyes are still red from crying. Yeah. I mean, once I started sobbing about 20 minutes in, I couldn't stop.
I know. We were recording this right after watching, and every time I looked at Jillian, it was just, I don't even know how you could see the show. Like, you were bawling your eyes out.
You were doing like wellness checks on me throughout, and I'm not typically somebody who cries at TV shows, mainly because if I know it's going to be sad, I typically don't cry. It's like my body prepared itself so much that then I don't end up crying because I was so ready for it. So I was kind of surprised that I was really crying at this one.
We were taking pause breaks for you to wipe your eyes.
It was tough to watch. You kept looking over at me like, are you okay?
I didn't know if you were going to be able to do this or not.
Well, if you couldn't tell, we are just off the big finale of Love Story, John F. Kennedy and Carolyn Bessette, the final episode 9, called Search and Recovery. And obviously we knew this was going to be a tough one. We know how this ends. We've been dreading it. We know it was going to be bad. But I still don't think I was prepared for how bad it was. And Constance Zimmer, who plays Carolyn's mom on the show, said in an interview that the finale would be very, very difficult for everybody to watch. And I can confirm that that is true. It was tough.
I guess a little piece of me was holding out for the Quentin Tarantino ending of just where he rewrites history, like in Inglourious Bastards or Once Upon a Time, like Sharon Tate lives. You know, spoiler.
We love that.
Spoiler for those movies, but he rewrites history a little bit. But unfortunately, this was pretty true to events.
Yeah, which just made it even harder, that reminder.
Yeah.
And they really did this episode in a way, too, of showing their relationship and them rekindling and working on things, and it just made it even harder.
I know. It's because the show, you know, as much as it is like the 90s nostalgia and the New York and the fun love story of it all, you do deep down know you're watching a tragedy, and that's part of what makes it so terribly compelling, because these people don't get to live the hopeful lives that they're dreaming of.
Well, I was trying to forget that part. I was trying to ignore the tragedy this whole time.
Yeah.
I kept being like, that's for me to deal with next week. That's next week's problem. And next week is now here.
Yeah. You thought maybe No Ordinary Love was going to come back on and they would just live and live happily ever after.
I thought maybe they won't show it. Maybe it will just be like, well, you know what happened. We just
I gotta say, they got pretty close to showing it in a way that I didn't think we were going to see in the plane. I was like, whoa, we are getting up to some dire moments right here.
I know. I did not think they were going to show that. I was shocked by that too. But I thought they handled it in a good way because they kept bringing it back to John and Carolyn's relationship. So even in the plane, it's about the two of them and kind of how they were dealing with it in that moment. And we saw her go to sit by him. So they kept bringing it back to the two of them. And this is a reminder before I get even more into this episode that we are
Wipe your eyes a little. You okay? You okay?
We're good.
Breathe.
We're good.
You breathe.
I know. You're going to have to tell me to breathe throughout. We're discussing the events of the show, not the real life people. If you do want to hear us talk about what actually happened, go and listen to our fact-checked episode. That's where we talk all about the real life John and Carolyn, the Kennedys, what's real, what isn't. But in this episode, we're focusing just on what we saw on the show. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and follow our podcast. Give us 5 stars, like our vids on YouTube, share with your friends. It all really helps. We would love that. Well, since this episode was such a doozy, let's just get into our top 5 because the top 5 is top 5 heart-wrenching moments from this episode.
I mean, they were heart wrenching. It was sad. It was a tough watch because they set you up, and you knew they were setting you up at the beginning. They were showing you these good times again and playing the hits, and you just knew the hammer was going to drop.
It made it harder. I was like, why are they doing this to me?
I know.
But they did give us some lovely moments of them together and some callbacks to past episodes. So that's all in this top 5 heart-wrenching moments too. So it's not all the back half of the app. Don't you worry, people. We're talking about some of the good stuff too. So number 5 heart-wrenching moment goes to John and Carolyn rekindling after marriage counseling.
You called it rekindling?
Rekindling.
I think I told you I thought it was a good moment when they got a drink and banged.
I would prefer you say have sex. But yes. I prefer to call it rekindling.
Rekindling.
Well, because I think it was all of it. It was them at the dive bar, having some cutesy moments, getting all close together, reminiscing on the past, them hooking up. Like, it was all just really fun, and it was such a callback to the beginning of the relationship. They're both very good at flirting.
Oh, when he says, "You mind if I come back and get my linen jacket?" I mean, whoa.
I was like, let's go. Let's go get that jacket.
This guy's got the lines.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
Although I don't think that counselor was falling for either one of them. She did seem, I think he's right. I think Carolyn said that our counselor hates us, and I think she might be right.
They did the opposite of what she told them to do. She said, take time apart. And let me tell you, counselor, if you tell these two to take some time apart, they're just going to get closer together. And maybe that was her game plan the entire time.
This is so that couple, though, that if people recommend to them that maybe they should like separate, they're like, we're going to hook up right now.
It's so good. I know. And you know what? That type of couple is fun to watch.
Yeah. These people have been walking around New York with no security, as if there aren't mobs of photographers threatening them at all times. These people ain't going to listen to your advice.
No, they're like, that's for different people.
They live in their own world. Yeah.
I love though too that she's like, well, you don't want to get divorced and you don't really want to be together as is right now. So something has to give here, people.
Yeah.
They're both pretty stubborn.
They are. That's what's fun about it. They're that kind of just like fiery flame of a couple.
Yeah, they are. Well, a
lot of passion, a lot of fights.
Yeah. And that's why it's fun to watch. Our number 4 heart-wrenching moment goes to Carolyn showing up to the George Awards and meeting up with John at the Indian restaurant, their first date spot.
Yes. It was fun to see that place back. Which again, we've been there. Great. What is it, Panatu?
Yeah, we have been there. Yeah. Now you can barely get in. This show saved that restaurant, I think. There was a line at the door. Yeah.
That's an old school New York place. That's fun. Yeah. No, it was great to them saying their lines again. Like their first
I love
lines.
that. I love that so much. I fall for that in a TV show every time. Normally a show does that, season 4 in or something. They give a call back to that, but I appreciated that they called back to it in this episode.
But part of why these moments are so heart-wrenching is because you just know what's to come. So it's so tough to watch them knowing these are like their final moments together.
Well, and it's sad to see them getting to where they want to be and to see them growing together and finally compromising and meeting each other in the middle. I mean, Carolyn going to the event when John really wanted her to go. And that
Mhm.
meant so much to him. And you're like, oh, we're getting somewhere with them. They're getting through it. They're getting through these problems. They're figuring it out. And that's what makes it even more sad is you feel like, oh, they can make this work. They can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They're meeting in the middle. They're finding their old spark again. They're going back to that first date spot and they're being vulnerable with each other.
Well, and then when she walks in, it's such a like, movie star moment. It feels like they're both on the glam cam all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's like you get to watch these stars be in love and the way they look at each other. And even though there's a million people there taking photos, it's like they're just looking, they only see each other. It's
Yeah.
great.
And they look so happy.
Yeah.
In that moment, they do.
You could tell it meant a lot to him that she came.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all you need. He just needed that support. And after they go on that first date again, you get the sense that they are going to work on this relationship and that they're going to figure it out. Carolyn gets a little bit more vulnerable with him. She reveals what her sign would say, which is
Yeah.
please handle with care. She's not as tough as she looks. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. You
That's
get that
just
impression that that's part of why she was so hurt by how this fight has come with John and how he's handled trying to work it out is because she finally did let her guard down and was tried to be honest about how she felt with someone, and
Mhm.
he just didn't react well to her being so vulnerable.
I know. And I think that it just brought back a lot of stuff with her dad
Mhm.
that luckily Lauren gives her a little bit of tough love of like, you also need to communicate with him. You can't put it all on him. You're blaming him for dad's stuff, which is a lot of, what people do. We're hurt most by what happened to us.
Both sisters gave some tough love in this.
Yeah, but they were both such great scenes. And
Yeah. They
they
were
they
really
got
just the one
somewhere.
speaking reason to them, like no one else will.
I know. They need those people in their lives because
Mhm.
they don't have many people who will tell them the truth. I mean, especially John.
Yeah.
He doesn't have many people who will tell it to him straight like Caroline would. So, yeah. And John even tells Carolyn that he'll be there for her, that she's the most important thing. And you're like, finally, what she wanted to hear.
I know. This is so rough
I
because these are
know.
such beautiful moments, but there's a bit of it that's like, the clip show that like play the hits because you just know this isn't going to work out.
I will say though, I'm glad that they gave us these moments.
Mm-hmm.
I
We needed
would
it.
I would rather have them than have them play just like clips from the past or what
Mm-hmm.
could have been or the show had them still not talking or not on good terms because they
Yeah.
kind of did a switcheroo with us a little bit from because we saw them going to the plane in the very first episode of the show and it seemed like the relationship was really done at that point
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And then when you saw it this time, you viewed it a little bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah. I looked up the George Awards. I did a quick Google trying to find out. I was like, what was this event? Like how many awards did they give out? Was this like a full-on awards show? And couldn't find a lot about it. Said that year it was him and Paul Newman put on the awards. Newman's
Oh,
Own. It was the Newman's Own George Awards. And
Paul
they were
Newman,
giving
that's pretty big.
awards to companies that treated their employees well, and they were given an award to Kenneth Cole or something. But I couldn't really find the whole list. I was
Well,
curious about this event.
that sounds lovely.
Anytime you
That
look up the
sounds
event,
very nice.
if you look up the event, all it is just what Carolyn wore, that suit thing she wore.
I mean, she looked cool. I
That was
feel
all the
like
coverage.
John just wanted to make an award show so he could have another event to go to. That's probably what that was.
We can relate.
Yeah. He's like, I need a night out. Let's just make an award show. Let's give
Yeah.
somebody an award.
Listen to our previously on awards podcast.
Yeah, we did.
We have a similar energy about us.
Who doesn't love an award show, you know?
Yeah. Sure.
All right, back to our top 5 heart-wrenching moments from this episode. Number 3 goes to Carolyn saying, "Just breathe" in the plane.
Oh.
This was especially heart-wrenching because we've seen her say, "Just breathe" to him before. She has helped him. She's always helped calm him down, help him through panic attacks. So this was tough.
Mm-hmm. It really was. And like her getting up in the front seat with him to, you know, because she's feeling this kind of, it's just so tough. And everything's red, like the lights and stuff. And you just know it's so ominous as you see, because you see the sky off, like not looking great in the distance. It's so brutal.
And then it seems to get worse and worse. I was a little bit confused of what all was going on in the plane.
Yeah. Well, I did read about this when we did the fact-checked episode, and apparently they do explain it a little bit in the episode later on, but it really was like John called about, what you see here is he calls about the weather, they give him the go-ahead, but they leave at a later time. And the weather has changed slightly, and it just seems like such awful luck, because in a lot of the area around that, visibility was fine, but on their particular route, they hit just this crazy haze and just couldn't see. There was just no visibility. And so when you're over water and you've just got the dark sky and the dark ocean, and it's all just, you need some kind of guide as to where up and down is. Like you need a horizon. You need to see the ground to know that that's the sky. Like, or you really can get twisted and not know which way's up.
Ugh, it's so sad.
Yeah. And they had talked about how earlier he still needed his instrument training. They hit that a few times in the show, of that, like, he had a little bit of training on instruments, but he needed like a lot more training to get certified to be able to fly by instruments. So he was only allowed to fly by like visibility. And it was just,
and then he had no visibility.
Then it was the bad luck. He had no visibility. So he's trying to fly by instruments, but is not trained to do that. And you can't see. And like they said, it's an illusion. Like your brain will tell you the wrong thing to do when you can't see the ground.
That is so crazy. I've never really thought about that before. That it's like kind of like a black hole type of thing. And that you wouldn't even know if you're upside down.
Yeah. It's very scary.
That's very sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're really in the sad, heart-wrenching moment.
Sad part of the list. Yeah.
We're in the real dark part of the list. So number 2 heart-wrenching moment.
That's why I was hoping to find the George Awards. I was like, I could just read another George Award after each one on the list, but couldn't find them.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, I tried.
All right, number 2. We do have some fun things planned for later on in the episode.
We just have to talk about this crier of an episode, this brutal episode.
And this might be one of the more brutal ones. Number 2 goes to Caroline and Anne grieving.
Yes.
Oof, this was real tough to watch. I mean, it starts with Caroline, and you feel so bad for her when she just starts to break down saying, "I'm not doing this again." It's just like, it's so painful. It's so hard to watch. You feel for her. I mean, that is her last immediate family member.
Yep.
It's just so sad. Like, she's already been through so much tragedy, and now she just lost her brother too, under very tragic circumstances. And then you see Anne's perspective when she goes to talk to Ed, who immediately brings up where the Kennedys want John to be buried, which was just not the right move here.
you really see the other side of the coin of like,
Yeah.
I did feel so bad for Caroline when of what she's going through, and rightfully so. She's a person. Like she's dealing with a major loss, a shocking loss of losing your brother at such a young age. But then for Anne to just be so outside of this family and like
Yeah.
be completely ignored what her wishes are and what she's going through and the fact that she lost two daughters.
Which she has to explain that to Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Ed just gives condolences and kind of like moves on, is not even mentioning Lauren in any of the burial
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And when she has to explain that she lost two daughters, it is really, really sad.
Them saying that her choices were to bury her daughter in DC or in Massachusetts. And she was like, my daughter has no attachment to either of these places. Like,
I don't even think DC was offered. I
yeah,
think
oh,
that
that you're right.
he
That's what it
was just
was. He
offered
was gonna be in
DC.
he was gonna be in DC by himself. You're right. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Which is so insensitive to say that to Anne too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so we're gonna bury him in DC and
Mm-hmm.
um, you can do whatever. It's
Yeah.
like they are married and died in this very tragic circumstance. Like, Anne brings that up to Caroline too, how this
Mm-hmm.
is all being treated in the press, where John is on the cover of every magazine, Carolyn's featured on the inside, and
Mm-hmm.
Lauren is barely a footnote in it.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine that of seeing John's face just plastered everywhere because everyone's comparing it to the tragic loss of his dad. So everyone's being like father and son. Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
much of that.
Yeah. You can
And it's
understand Anne's anger. This
yes.
is it's so awful because, she had foreshadowed this with her speech like at the wedding, and then
Yeah.
for to lose both daughters, just unimaginable pain. And then everyone's talking about the Kennedy curse as if like, you know, he didn't have some, responsibility in flying the plane. Instead, the press is completely blaming Carolyn. And like, if you look
Yeah.
this up in real life, you can see all sorts of just awful stories and headlines that like attack like Carolyn, blaming her for like delaying the flight and,
Because she was getting her nails done, which
hmm
is just making her sound like a very vain person. That she
yes.
had to get her nails done before going
hmm
to this Kennedy wedding, and that's why this happened.
hmm
Which that is not the truth at all.
No. And, they ruled it, pilot error. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't equipped to be doing what he was doing. It's very, very sad.
I think it's one of those things too where it's just such a tragedy. We don't need to be like throwing around like blame on people who are
We don't have
gone.
to blame. Neither of these
Yeah.
people wanted to die. Like,
Right. Exactly. So those are just some really tough scenes. I did love the scene though where Anne and Caroline more so come together, seem to reach some
hmm
common ground. You really see how grief can bring people together. Like
hmm
these two, I feel like barely spoke, had no kind of relationship. And in this moment, they really rely on each other
Yeah. Yeah.
because
I
no one
mean,
else understands really.
yeah. I mean, it's tough whenever Caroline walks in the apartment and they make eye contact with each other, and you're like, "What's about to go down right
I
now?"
know. Yeah. I'm like, "Oh my god. Please don't like scream at each other." It's just so awkward. It's awkward.
hmm It's nice them talking it out and seeing each other's sadness and knowing that, like, you don't have to blame each other, you can understand that both sides are hurting a lot right now. But yeah, I'm not sure if in real life it was quite as
Yeah, I don't think it was. But once
I don't
again, we're
know if
not talking about the real life people. We are
sorry.
talking about the
Sorry.
Anne and
Sorry.
Caroline from the show.
I'm just saying I'm making the point that they
Yeah.
did try to end us on a more hopeful note.
Which I
I mean, I have no
appreciated.
idea if Anne and Caroline Kennedy in real life had bad blood for each other. I just know about, the lawsuits and stuff. And so
Yeah.
but I'm glad that, in the show, what they're trying to show is that people are really hurting and you need to have a lot of sympathy for what everyone is going through in both sides.
Yeah, I think it was nice that they were both able to say their perspective on
Yeah.
it. And then in the end, we see Anne ask Caroline, how do you get up the next day? Like, how do you get
Mhm.
through this? I thought that was such a great moment of them kind of finding some common ground together in this and reaching out for each other with support.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you for the show for bringing us some kind of hope in that moment.
They were trying. They were trying to
They were
find their moments.
trying. Yeah, they were. But brutal to watch them get there.
Yeah.
And I think you feel for both of them too.
Oh, of course. How can you not?
Just everybody in this situation. Which that brings me to the number one most heart-wrenching moment in this episode goes to everyone grieving.
Mm.
We see Caroline walk through the crowd outside the apartment. For
Oh.
the first time, it was eerily silent. Everybody just let her walk by, walk
Mhm.
on through. You see also how much these people meant to other people, which
Yes.
I think that puts it all in perspective. Like, we're watching this as a love story. And yes, we're seeing the paparazzi and the photos and all
Yeah.
that and whatnot. But these people did mean a lot to people.
It's a good point. And it's not like they were going through all of this fame in vain because they did mean a lot to people's lives. People
Yeah.
followed them and gauge their lives by what's going on with their lives. They watched John grow up his whole life,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I think just seeing the memorial outside of the apartment, like, that really got me.
Mhm.
That was really like it more put it into perspective that this is real too.
Mhm.
And that is what really happened.
Yeah.
And the show is continuing on in these moments without our main characters. We're not
It feels
seeing them
so
anymore.
it feels so eerie to see,
Yeah.
Calvin there and to see the family there, to just see all these characters you've seen all season, but they're not there. The stars of the show are gone.
And you miss them.
Oh, absolutely.
You miss them in those moments. I mean, when we went
Yeah.
to Calvin, I was like, oh my God, Calvin.
It was sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
And then it ends on those just, Anne gives the poems at the end as we're seeing like the flashes of what she's given. I looked up what she said, and she read the poem Death is Nothing at All by Henry Scott Holland, and the poem Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep by Mary Elizabeth Fry. And I saw some stuff online that the real Anne Freeman at least read the first one. I'm not 100% on that, but it was a nice moment of talking because
Yeah.
both are very much about trying to put a different spin on their death and remembering what they meant to you and how much you loved them, how much they loved each other.
Yeah. And then the moments where they are spreading the ashes on the boat, which that is real. That is what they did.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was very sad too.
Lots of very sad moments.
I just feel like I keep saying that was very sad.
And that was very sad too. And then that was sad. And that was sad.
And I cried during that moment too.
Yeah.
And that was not uplifting either.
Yeah.
But I was happy that they spread the ashes, all their ashes together. I thought that was nice.
Yes.
Not just sad, nice as well.
Nice and sad.
All right. Do you have any Tyler's takes for us?
I do. You want something lighter?
Normally this is funny, but is it going to be funny?
Oh, I've always got something lighter.
That makes me nervous.
Well, you were crying your eyes out. I was joking around here in my notes app.
Oh, God.
Oh, I did want to open with, there were a few stories about how the KFC thing, which we thought was almost completely product placement last week, was apparently real, that multiple people had written about Carolyn eating KFC.
Wow. All right. She did love it.
The author of the book said that Carolyn only had one recipe in her home. She mostly ordered out every meal, which we love that.
We love that. That's a New York girl. My kind of gal. We love that.
Yeah. But that isn't to say KFC didn't still pay him a little. We'll who knows?
I feel like they had to have. I mean, they must have gotten some money from that. But that's when it works out great, when it's like kind of real too. I mean, it worked. I want KFC.
I thought her telling the marriage counselor that she dreams of wearing the Jackie pink suit, like, that was haunting.
That was.
I was like, well, when she talked about the Jackie suit, it reminded me of when Ethel Kennedy said, that Jackie had to wear that, and it's about being a Kennedy is about, like, standing there and taking it, almost like showing that you can handle the pain.
Yeah.
And which was eerily similar to what Ethel says at the end of this to Caroline.
Yeah.
But I thought just Carolyn thinking about wearing Jackie's outfit was just, that truly was carrying the burden of all of this, of what bad things were to come.
It also shows how many ghosts are just in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an easy relationship to be in, with all this history, all this tragedy, and all these just like surrounding ghosts that you can't get away from.
I do think this show was hopeful that these two might have made it, that they might have been able to stay together, because when you think they were dealing with a lot of obstacles, like this wasn't just normal, like, marriage troubles. This was like insane, like world, like just putting so much pressure on you, and they were still fighting through it. So
I think they would have lasted. I think they showed them working on the problems when they came up. So I think they would have lasted based on the show. Based on what we know on the show. Together forever.
I love that empty dive bar, getting a drink during the work day. That's my kind of vibe. You and I took a day off where we went to like a like a Upper East Side bar and like got them to open.
We
like,
did.
Had a drink and did something like that one day. It's just like
we were
fun
the only ones
sometimes in New York to have a weird day like that.
Yeah. It's fun getting drunk in the afternoon in New York.
Just having
a drink. It is fun. Did you see that was right by their apartment too?
Oh,
it's the bar that's like right by their apartment.
Oh, okay.
Because then I thought that makes sense. Like they probably know this bartender more.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably much easier for them to go to a dive bar during the workday too. They don't have to worry about a crowd.
That's probably where you meet famous people, is just midday like that. That's the one time they can go.
That's a good point. Maybe we'll try it. Yeah.
We'll try it again. I thought the running down to catch the elevator move. What a move. Wasn't even out of breath. This guy.
Loved it.
That's not the kind of kiss I was talking about.
I think I just said, thank you for giving us this. This is what I needed in
Oh.
this episode. I needed a good elevator kiss. I needed a good running to stop it. Put the hand in there.
Do you think they got through with the script and were like, we just need one more like punch it up happy moment for the girlies watching? And they were like, what if they talk about what their best kiss was in
Yeah,
bed?
I do think that's
Let's add that
exactly
in.
what they did. I was thinking, do people really remember a kiss that well?
They seem to, they could have a spreadsheet on them. They remembered every
Yeah.
single one.
Yeah. Well, they're dramatic.
Yeah.
But how, like, it was just good. I just keep thinking back to it now. I'm like, that was a good moment. And yes, I do think they wrote it for that. And I don't care.
Instead of doing the top 5 on this episode, we should have just done their top 5 kisses in the show.
Oh
Called
my
it a day.
God. Maybe we'll do that in another app.
Yeah. I liked the next morning of when Carolyn says, should we talk about last night? John goes, yeah. And that is so just the guy's response. He's like, were we even having problems? Like, just like, we had sex. We're good, right?
He was like, let's meet for lunch.
Yeah,
oh, you want to talk about
last
it?
night.
Yeah.
She's like, that's not what I'm talking about.
She was like, no, this wasn't great. Like, maybe we should tell our counselor about it. And he's like, we're not telling the counselor about this.
Yeah,
Are you crazy?
Give us a bad grade.
That, again, they do such a good job of showing these very real life couple dynamics for any form of couple.
Yeah.
And having John and Carolyn have those kind of arguments and those kinds of dynamics, it's really fun to watch.
Lauren, when she agreed to go on the plane, when she said, of course I want a plane ride on a summer Friday. And I was like, pretty relatable. I get that.
I know. I was like, I would never turn down a plane ride on a summer Friday.
Yeah.
It takes so long to get out of the city on a summer Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine in the 90s, it was probably way worse. Now everybody leaves Thursday night. So
Thursday night's the new summer Friday?
Yes. Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah. I'm telling you, Friday now, not bad.
We have been stuck in some traffic on the highway trying to get out of New York on a Friday before.
Yeah.
Poor Ed, honestly. She really, I gotta say, like, Caroline really threw him to the wolves right there. I don't know if that was the best job for Ed.
Oh, like Ethel could have done it. I don't know why Ed had to do that.
I don't know why we drafted Ed for that.
That was rough. Well, and it's Ed talking about the Kennedys. It's Ed talking about like Kennedy business, and he married into it, so he should not have to do that.
She said if the Kennedy family felt strongly, they wouldn't have sent you.
I know. Anne calls it out. Anne is not afraid to call out the Kennedys from day one.
Yeah. It was a tough job, Ed. You were going to fail no matter what, but you did a pretty poor job. Pretty piss poor job, Ed.
I don't think he could have done worse in that moment.
I mean, Anne probably heard about that humiliating doc getting canceled. So, like, she already is like this guy. You think Carolyn didn't tell her about that?
I wish she would have brought up the doc in that moment. Just hit him where it hurts, Anne. Come on.
Yeah. The coverage was torture of just because it's honestly even worse than the coverage of the Diana stuff of just that they're missing, lost, like you don't know the results, like you're just watching and the newscasters don't know anything, so they're just talking and talking about nothing while you have no news.
I was happy the show though did not lean too much into the coverage. They kind of quickly, went with the route of they're gone. We didn't have to watch people in agony trying to figure this out or watch a bunch of new casts for like 20 minutes.
And my last one was just, I know what they were going for with Ethel's speech there at the end to Caroline, but I was like, I think Ethel needs therapy. Like,
Yeah,
Ethel,
I
you
know.
have had some tough stuff in your life, and you're just whole like, suck it up. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you're doing okay.
I can't.
You are like torturing everyone around the table, quizzing them into oblivion. Like, maybe talk to somebody.
Well, now that we know what she's been through, I'm like, okay, I get the quizzing a little bit, you know?
Mhm.
She's been through a lot. Let her get her kicks where she can get them.
She needs
And
her
if it's quizzing
humiliation.
people, then
She needs her
that's what it
humiliation
is.
ritual. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But how many times has she given that speech of like,
Oh my God.
we're a Kennedy, this is what we do?
Yeah.
You know, how many people have heard that? It's
I don't know.
like, it's a lot. I would also agree. I think some therapy could have been good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go through that much. I mean, the tragedy that woman has been through is too much for anybody. You got to talk
Agreed.
about it.
Talk to somebody, Ethel. Mrs. Kennedy.
Yeah, please call her Mrs. Kennedy. You're not getting invited to the table. All right. Well, since that was a tough episode to watch, I don't know if we've mentioned that. Let's make it a little bit more fun. Those were some fun Tyler's takes, though. Thank you for that.
I tried.
Let's look back at some of our favorite things from the season. Because as John said in his note to Carolyn, just because we can't go back to what once was, I would say the Calvin Klein days, doesn't mean we can't have what we've always wanted.
Yeah.
Meet me back at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do here right now.
We're going back to the fun stuff.
Yeah. We're going back to the vibes for a second.
Back to the vibes. When it was like it's a hangout show.
That was a cute note. That note would get me. I would no longer be mad about him not wanting to talk about the sex. I'd be like, all right, this is a good note.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Rapid fire. Let's do it.
Okay.
Best music moment.
Best music moment for me is Name by the Goo Goo Dolls, because that's right after their fight in Battery Park, and then she like accepts his proposal, and it's been like all these meanings because it's like the press can't get her name right. And then like it's also then the weight of what this name means to add Kennedy to the end of her name. And then it's like she's so happy when she accepts the proposal, but you're hearing that song and you're just like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of meaning, but it's great. I love that moment.
That's a good one. And a great song. I love that song. Very 90s. All right. Mine is Linger by the Cranberries.
Well, how can you beat Linger? It's great.
I love Linger. And it's a good moment. It's when she finds out she's in the tabloids in the Calvin Klein office. And it's kind of where things really start to change. You're like, oh no, what's going to happen next? Everybody knows she's dating him.
No, that's a great moment when she's marching in Calvin Klein there. I got to say, there were so many great music moments in this one. Like, I picked one off the top of my head, but like, there's so many. Like, them dancing to that Common People. Like, all the times they had like No Ordinary Love. I'm just playing the playlist, the Spotify playlist for this show, kind of on loop right now. I'm listening to that Jeff Buckley song all the time.
Oh yeah. The playlist is very good. People should listen to that on Spotify. It's the official playlist for Love Story. I mean, Lenny Kravitz, It Ain't Over Till It's Over. Kravitz. Great song.
Yeah. Lover, You Should Have Come Over. That's the Jeff Buckley song I was thinking of. I've been playing that on loop. Oh my God. There's so many good ones on here. But,
I've been hearing that and I'm like, what is he listening to? And then I think, oh, it's the Love Story soundtrack.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Great music throughout the show.
Definitely. All right. Best fashion moment.
Probably John's backwards hats. that backwards straight cap thing. I love it all.
Kangaroo hat.
Yeah. All his goofy clothes are great.
There were some goofy clothes by John.
Yeah. Well, I
The
saw an article, I think it was GQ or someone was saying that they weren't going goofy enough in this show. They were like, they're scared. They were like, they were scared to get too wacky. And they're like, the real John just would get so wacky with the clothes and would just be feeling himself. It was a vibe.
I believe it. It's kind of fun that he could really rock like a suit or a tux and look so
Mhm.
good in that, and then also look really good in these wacky clothes.
I know.
You know, who knows what he was wearing? Big t-shirts, hats, sunglasses, a lot of accessories. He seemed to be an
Oh,
accessories kind of
yeah. He
guy.
did. He looked like a 90s punk Keith Richards sometimes. He'd have, like,
Oh,
crazy, like,
yeah.
bandana things and, like, all these
Yeah.
accessories.
I appreciate a guy who goes for it. So I
Yeah.
like that. All right, mine is Carolyn's black dress and scarf that she wore to Ethel's dinner.
Mm.
That just really stuck out with me. That scarf was so good with it. She looked
Oh,
chic,
Mrs.
classic
Kennedy didn't like
black.
the scarf, though.
I know, and I'm still mad at Mrs. Kennedy about it. So I'm praising it here. She shouldn't have had to take that off.
I mean, yeah, Carolyn looks incredible throughout the show.
I mean,
Like,
anything she wore.
yeah, every time she's walking through Calvin Klein, it's like, damn.
I know. She has once again changed fashion. We're
Yeah.
all wearing what she was wearing. We're all wearing that minimalist look now.
Mhm.
So good for her. The legacy continues.
It continues.
And that coat that she was wearing too when she was in the Ralph Lauren office,
Mm.
that was good. She had some really good office looks. All right, next up, best 90s nostalgia moment. A lot of 90s nostalgia in this.
90s nostalgia. I don't know.
I
Probably
mean, I
just
guess it's
like
not really nostalgia for us, but just, you know.
probably just like people going to these all the parties they go to. It's fun
Yeah.
that everyone's like looking around and talking to people and like even if you're sitting in a booth, everyone's like looking around at who's there and seeing who they can talk to because no one's on their phones. Like
Yeah.
no one has their phones to just be scrolling on.
I
So
know you
just
don't
that kind
see
of
a
like
phone at all.
act of social energy is fun.
It is fun in a TV show like this, a period piece, if you will, when people are waiting for somebody for dinner and we don't see them scroll on their phone.
Mhm.
They're just kind of looking around, or like a waiter goes to talk to them, or,
Mhm.
you know, they're not killing time
Yeah.
as much. You made it work.
What about you?
Mine goes to John talking to Carolyn through the answering machine.
Oh, that's a good one. Her screening his calls on the answer machine. Old
I love
school.
that. Yeah. I mean, you can still screen a voicemail, but now we don't even leave voicemails. And those were fun messages he was leaving. So we should bring that
Mhm.
back.
Bring back the answer machine. Oh,
All
I mean,
right.
it's awesome when he's like, I'm outside. Yeah.
I know. That was
Yeah.
a really romantic moment, too. We should break down all the most romantic moments that we got. Maybe another time. All right. Last up, most New York moment from the show.
Most New York moment, I would say, Carolyn walking to work and him biking to work. Like that's, very New York. Not a lot of people live in places that they do that, but lots of people do that here. I'm always walking home from work.
Yeah. I know. They just walked so cool. I was like, I don't think I look like that walking to work.
Yeah, they had a
I don't
strut
make it
about
look
them.
as cool. Yeah. I have two. One of mine is John playing football in Central Park.
Yes.
Shirts
Yes.
off.
Very much a thing.
That felt like a very New York thing
Timeless.
of meeting up with people after work to go to the
Mhm.
park. And then my second one is from this episode. It's when
Oh.
John and Carolyn are at the reservoir in Central Park.
Oh, yeah, that was great. Yeah, we love
And
the reservoir.
we go there all the time.
All the time.
So that was fun to see.
Yeah, that was great. That bridge they're sitting by, looked into proposing to you on that bridge. Like,
I know. It's a good
because it's like
bridge.
yeah, we take that bridge a lot when we go to the reservoir, but they were doing construction on it at the time. But I don't know how we didn't know this was shooting right through there.
I know. We're there all the time. They must have done it early in the morning or something.
Yeah,
But it's a very pretty spot in New York. We love it.
it's great. Love the reservoir.
All right. Anything else on Love Story?
Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that is what it is. You know, I just call her Jackie Kennedy. I'm not putting on that O on the end, okay? we want to forget about those years.
Oh my gosh.
Give me the Jackie O story next. Well, who do you want to see on Love Story next?
Ooh, does it have to be a tragedy? I guess it does. Like, is that what they do in this show?
No, I think it just needs to be a love story that's interesting. So probably people who, you know, fight, break up, get back together, love each other hard, that whole thing.
I think let's just stick with the 90s and do Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston.
I mean, that would be good.
Another
what
tragedy.
Do you think the edit on Angelina Jolie would be on that one?
You thought Daryl Hannah was bad. Watch out for the Angelina Jolie edit.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about you?
I'd watch every second of that. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
That I actually lived.
They would get a lawsuit from both of them, but they would fight through it. Yeah.
I think a letter has already been sent. You are not touching us. Yeah.
I would watch that. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
talk about some more fashion icons.
Yeah, when he's that shirt that he's wearing when they're like crying in Mexico the last time they were together.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My God, you don't know the last Mexico trip?
The last trip in Mexico. Okay, we'll talk offline about those.
It is. I'm going to show you those photos. It's like iconic. Like,
okay, I'm sure.
And then the divorce is like right after that. Okay.
Wow.
Anyways, so I would keep it to the celebrity couple of our time. Similar to Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, I would go Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez. I mean,
but then that's like 3 seasons. Because you got to do, I think you do a season for each time.
Like, that's what I want to see.
Are they currently together? I don't know.
Weren't they holding hands not that long ago?
No, they just had a big thing about selling a house.
I actually don't know if we can cover them yet because I don't think their story is done. I think we're still
they've got a few more seasons on them.
Yeah. I mean, but one day I better be 80 years old watching that love story. That's what I want.
Bennifer.
Yeah. Bennifer. And then season 2 could be Bennifer 2.0.
Love Story Bennifer is a lot easier to search than the long name of this show.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to put the name of this show in our podcast title.
It's hard for me to say. All right. Well.
But what a fun show it was. Despite, the very tragic ending. It was, you got great, really nice moments of reminding you why you love these two. And then you cried your eyes out for about 20 minutes.
I thought it was a really well done show. Yeah. I thought that Sarah Pidgeon was phenomenal as Carolyn Bessette. Mm-hmm. I thought she brought a lot to the role. I think it was great that we saw more of
She's probably getting nominated for this.
I would assume so, yeah.
She
was great, yeah. So
I even wondered if Constance Zimmer's getting nominated for this final thing.
She was great too. I know.
Guest or supporting or something.
Yeah. A lot of great performances. And I think when I heard the show was first going to come out, I kind of rolled my eyes like, oh, what is this going to be? Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was going to be great.
Yeah.
So I eat my words. I thought it was great. It was a great show.
We had no idea how big the show would become either when we first started covering it. But quite a popular show. Everyone I know is like aware of it or has seen some of it.
I know, it's pretty fascinating how big this has really become, especially when I don't think people were really talking about it much before it came out. People were
Mhm.
more so making fun of it, saying it was gonna be a flop.
Mhm.
So, it's so fun when it's not like that, and then we're all watching it week to week and enjoying it, and
I think it'll get a lot of supporting noms too. I just could see a lot of these people racking up noms, you know?
I
Even like
know.
Naomi Watts as Jackie early
I already
on.
forgot about her, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. A lot of great performances. So, I think it will, like, come back around in discussion around award season, and I
Yeah.
think no matter what, yes, the show took liberties, and it
Condensed a lot of
was
timelines.
dramatized and everything like that, but it really did bring 2 people back into conversation and the spotlight and what they did and made people fall in love with them again, which I think is a great thing for their legacy.
Yeah.
So, I'll be buying that tortoise headband this weekend, so catch catch me in my tortoise headband and my long brown coat walking to work.
As long as I get to wear the wacky John looks.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll talk. We'll talk offline. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Be sure to follow our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. We would love that. You can follow me on social media at previously_on_teen TV. Subscribe on YouTube as well, like our videos, buy our merch on Etsy, and thanks for listening.
Bye.